Welcome to our second episode of our Drunken History. We are doing a salute to the capture of the Eagle's Nest in World War II this week, and we are drinking German beers to honor that. We got St. Pauli Girl, we got Franziskaner, and Bitburger here.
Yeah, we figured we'd do a little salute to more of our military history this week. We learned a lot from last week's episode, I think. We was able to fix our lighting, I think, a little bit better, fix our sound a little bit better. We're trying to grow as the channel grows, so hopefully you guys can see the improvements, and hopefully we can improve some of the stories too. And
if you guys have suggestions, let us know, because we're pretty new to this.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to be a better public speaker. It's never been my strong suit, so maybe this will force me to get a little bit better at it.
And I'm trying to be a better researcher because I just kind of wing shit.
That's what we're good at. But yeah, do we want to go into any details on our beers first, or do we want to go with our story? How do you want to do it?
Let's do the beer thing first before we get too shithoused. So, this is Bitburger. It is obviously from Bitburg, Germany. It's a Pilsner. It was founded in 1817, and it is the third best selling beer in Germany. The man who founded it, his name is, I have notes, by the way, so I keep looking over here. Johann Wallen, I can't even read my damn writing. Wallenbach, I'm sure. But he followed in his father's footsteps and founded it after his dad taught him how to brew beer. Keeping it in the family. I've got notes too.
I got notes, yeah.
Mine are chicken scratch handwriting, and his are nicely printed.
Yeah. I guess I can't read my own handwriting either. Yeah, because I thought it was pretty interesting too. It's not named after the St. Pauli neighborhood of
Hamburg.
Of
yeah,
Hamburg,
I read that as well. Which has a lot of whorehouses. I didn't know that. So what kind of beer are you drinking tonight, Trav?
We'll do some St. Pauli Girl next.
All right.
We'll feature that. That'll be our other German beer. So I guess there's a popular misconception that it was named after the St. Pauli Red Light District in Hamburg, but it's actually named after the St. Paul's Friary in Bremen, Germany. So, and it was founded in 1857.
Got that. By Luther Rutenberg.
Luther Rutenberg.
How'd old Luther do? Is it good?
That's pretty good. I've had it a few times.
Yeah.
But it's a good lager, if you like those. I think I might like that Bitburger a little bit better.
Do you?
Yeah. But it's a nice beer.
Bitburger on the label says that it's Germany's #1 draft beer, but that's bullshit. It's number 3.
So yeah, another fun fact that I thought was funny about St. Pauli Girl is they have a few different flavors or styles, you want to call them, but they have one that's actually non-alcoholic, but the only place it's sold is in the United States because Germans don't believe in non-alcoholic beer.
The Germans got it right.
Yeah.
So there's a brewery in St. Louis that does St. Pauli Girl too. It's a Beck's brewery. I'm sure it's the same recipe, but it's probably not as good.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the way Heineken is. Which that's Belgian, isn't it? Or is Heineken
no,
German
Heineken
too?
is from Holland.
Oh, yeah, because they have a brewery in the States that does all their stateside beer, and it's supposed to use their same recipe.
I'm not a big Heineken fan.
I'm not either, really.
Yeah,
no,
it's like I had it in Djibouti at the airport.
Yeah,
and it was good because I hadn't had, normal beer. Did you drink the one with the elephant on the label? It's from Kenya.
Was that Meta? No,
it wasn't Meta. It was fuck. I'm gonna have to look that up. But their bottles were like Bam Bam clubs.
Oh yeah. Well, because they reused them. They had the St. George was another good
one.
Yeah,
I had St. George.
And then Castile or Castle. They had the gold foil on the...
Yeah, we had that. We had Kronenberg 1886 over there. But, god damn, that one. It like, if you were in a bar fight, that's the bottle you were
just
grabbing.
Go clank, it wouldn't break.
Yeah.
Those suckers were
that
heavy-duty
thing
bottles.
was badass. Yeah. I had a buddy that... we were in one of those cabs over the nightmare cabs, and I don't know why. Sorry, Mrs. Bryant. He hated Kobe, hated him, and Kobe Bryant was one of the sponsors, or one of his sponsors was Turkish Airways. He was one of the spokesmen for it.
Yeah,
and they had a big ass Turkish Airways sign right outside of that base. And we were on the way back from Pizziola one time, and my buddy Eric, we were pretty toasted, and we were driving by that sign, and he goes, "Fuck you, Kobe!" And he threw that beer bottle up there, and it put a dent in Kobe Bryant's forehead. He tatered it, yeah, and it was like a full-size, full-height billboard. It was a perfect shot, yeah.
Oh, man. That beer
and then
bottle
it fell to the ground and didn't even break.
Yeah, it went bong, you know?
Oh, my God. Yeah, it was great. That was great. Anyway, back to Germany. During World War II, most of the breweries over there got bombed.
Yeah, there's kind of like in the States, though, a lot of the industry over there is converted to start producing wartime supplies, and those were strategic targets.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we
bomb your morale.
Yeah,
I was reading where German officers actually encouraged the drinking of beer by their soldiers to kind of deal with the horrors of war.
Well, that's kind of how this whole story about the Eagle's Nest kind of evolves, because that was encouraged by the U.S. officers. They encouraged it, or they let it happen. But, me and you've both been deployed. If you remember, back to
back World War champs.
But when we deployed, you had to sign General Order 1A and no drinking or anything like that while you're on a deployment. And if you go back to World War II, that was even probably as far back as Vietnam. That still was. They encouraged it or allowed it. They brought in shipments of beer into the troops, and they've totally gotten away from that. And to me, like you're saying, it's a morale issue. I mean, you're not condoning partying and going crazy, but it's nice to have a good beer after a hot day.
I've been to a handful of bases that did allow drinking. Yeah. Like Djibouti, I think you were allowed like 3 beers a day.
Yeah, you had your ration card.
Jordan, maybe it was 2. I don't remember. Yeah. Jordan, it was 3. And they were good about enforcing it. Yeah. And it was nice. And we didn't go every day. Yeah. There's a lot of days where we just went to the gym, went to bed, whatever. Yeah. But once in a while, it's nice to just enjoy a cold beer. Yeah. Especially when you're in the middle of the fucking desert.
Yeah, in the middle of the desert. And they try to say that it's because you're in a combat zone and they want you to be on your best, either your best behavior or your best mental state or whatever. But like you said, if you're in a stressful environment, you're in the desert and it's hot, sometimes it's nice to have a cold beer.
It is.
And they tried to ship in the Budweiser non-alcoholic beer. That was piss water.
I'm sure St. Pauli Girl NA is not much better. Yeah. Hence the Germans saying ship that shit to America.
Oh, man.
The foreign militaries that I've all deployed with, they all allow drinking.
I've met several Canadian troops, the Brits.
The Italians.
The
Belgians.
And the French.
Yeah.
I spent time in Afghanistan with a lot of the NATO countries, and we would go to their compounds because they had kegs. We'd go there and have a beer with them.
We did in one base I was out in Afghanistan. We got to go to the Italian compound and drink.
Yeah, we got banned from the Australian compound because they had beer. They found out that's where I was going over there and drinking with them, and then.
So they didn't ban you. The U.S. banned you from
Yeah, or
That's
our
dumb.
supervision banned us from going to we weren't allowed in the Australian compound.
The Aussies they're a pretty wild bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to zip this up because it is fucking cold in here. By the way, we do this in my shed. So.
It's a little chilly, but
it is not a warm.
I guess we haven't drank enough yet. We'll probably start warming up.
Yeah, we'll get there, but then we're going to have to pee every 5 minutes. Because I got a little bladder.
got the old man walnut bladder.
Yeah, I do. I was thinking with us doing this out here, my neighbors are going to be like, where's Zach got a guy in his shed? Zach's got a boyfriend.
He's hiding it from his wife. They're out there in the shed.
She'll get home and be like, what are you doing out there? That's not why I bought you that shed.
Hey, we decided to form a podcast.
That's right, yeah. We're not doing anything bad. I do want to say, because we didn't say this last week, if you're going to drink, be safe, don't drive, don't make poor decisions. And that's it. That's my little spiel about that.
There was a quote. I actually saw it. It was one that I saw in there last week, and it was, let's see if I don't butcher it too bad. And I think it was from Thomas Jefferson, and he said, beer in moderation is the key to the, what did he say? It was the key to a long life and happiness. But he said, I guess the Marines didn't get that, get that memo.
That's awesome. That's great. Anyway, let's talk about these, a couple of these beer places. So, do you remember Hofbrau House in Vegas?
Yeah.
Did you ever eat there?
Yeah, I went by there once, yeah.
Yeah, so that place is like legit German food.
Yeah.
Like it's as real as it gets in the States.
I really like German food too. Just going through there, going back and forth through Frankfurt for deployments and stuff, I always made sure I stopped by some of the street vendor places where they had authentic. I really like, there's a couple places, just the sausage and potatoes and stuff they'd have. Man, that's great.
So I'm not sure on this, but I believe the Hofbrau House in Vegas was the second one in the world.
Oh,
the first one's in Munich, and I've been to both. I've been to there. There's a couple more now, but they really do fly in their beer from the Hofbrau House in Germany, and they fly it in like on a weekly basis.
That's cool.
They even fly in their bands to play there. But the real Hofbrau House is not too far from the Marienplatz and the Glockenspiel. It's like a block and a half.
Okay.
Really, and it actually looks a lot like the one in Vegas. Really a cool.
So they probably modeled the one in Vegas off.
Well, they
of
did.
that,
It's the same owners. Yeah. They. Well, it was. I don't know if it still is. This is 20 years ago now that I was there.
Yeah.
But the original Hofbrau House was destroyed in World War II. It was bombed and rebuilt in 1958.
That's cool. Yeah, it's crazy how much stuff was destroyed. You can go back and look at pictures and stuff, and there was, in Germany, especially toward the end of the war, where we had pretty much defeated the Luftwaffe, and we had air superiority.
That Messerschmitt was still a badass plane, though.
Yeah, it was, but basically, what we was able to bomb them to where they couldn't produce more aircraft. They still had pilots and they still had supplies, but they just ran out of airplanes.
Yeah,
and but yeah, after that, we pretty much leveled all of their industry and all of their any kind of their war effort supplies after that, and it was just looking at some of the pictures. It was pretty devastating.
Have you heard of Warsteiner?
Warsteiner? No, I've not heard of that.
So Warsteiner is a beer that it's the largest privately owned beer in Germany. It's owned by the Kramer family, I found out. I don't know if that's Kramer from Seinfeld, but I hope to Christ it is. Fitting. But their brewery was destroyed in an 1802 fire and rebuilt, and then partially destroyed and bombed out in World War II and rebuilt again. And that's what I thought I bought tonight.
It was from Warsteiner,
yeah, but instead I bought Franziskaner, which I'm actually excited to try because it is the oldest beer in Germany.
That's cool.
It's disputed either 1363 or 1397. Either way.
That's still really old.
Very old. And it's not the original beer, but it is the original recipe that we're about to drink tonight. And that one is the only one of these that I have yet to try.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it before, so that'd be really good to get a first impression on it.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
So that's one thing I love about Europe and European history is some of the places I've had a chance to visit going through there, but it's so old. There's so much to America does not have a beer recipe from the 1300s.
No.
They don't have the history or old architecture or like
you can see some old buildings in like New England and like down like St. Augustine, Florida. You can see some really old buildings for us, but like our old buildings are from like the 1600s.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of stuff. Anything that's before that was all Native Americans that they didn't have the infrastructure other than like the Mayans and down in Central America. But yeah, I mean, I remember going to places in Germany and even in England that there was stuff that the Romans left behind.
Yeah.
And roads or arches or bridges and some of the old cathedrals, like the Lincoln Cathedral there, it was started in, I think, 1056 or something like that.
Old as hell, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, that's just so interesting, especially if you like history, if you like seeing the old architecture, old buildings, or just going through the English countryside and seeing an old church or old chapel that was built in the 1200s.
It's amazing how many there are, too.
Yeah.
Did you ever go... So we did 2 weeks there where we didn't fly.
Yeah.
And we went up to Nottingham.
Oh, okay.
And there's a bar up there called the Pitcher and Piano.
Oh, okay.
And it's a church from the 1200s that they've converted into a really nice, really high-end bar.
That's cool.
So we went there. But then across the street, I'm from Montana. And my dad went to college in Missoula at the University of Montana. There's a bar across the street called the Missoula. And so I went over there, and I got a picture of me pointing up at the sign.
Yeah.
But I went in, and I was bullshitting with the bartenders, and I was like, dude, I'm from Montana. And they were like, so is the owner.
Oh, wow.
So they gave me free drinks.
Oh,
for the night.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I partied at the Missoula in Lincoln, England. Or in Nottingham, England.
Wow.
But the bar, it's got a weird name. Ye Old something, something, something. Is in Nottingham. It's like at the basement of the Nottingham Castle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the oldest bar in England.
Is that where? Yeah, it's like it's almost like in a cave, and it goes up into the castle. Is that
yes.
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
And I had heard that was closing this year.
Really?
Yeah, because of COVID.
That's ridiculous.
I'm not shitting you, man. They said that they just can't keep enough business to pay for it. Like, come on, that's like a national pride thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm gonna try one of these Franziskaner. By the way, the Franziskaner is from Munich.
Munich.
Which one is it? Right here. This guy.
I might as well pass one to me too.
Well, there you go, buddy.
All right. We'll try them to.
They said it's the thing I was reading said it's like kind of foggy looking, and it is. You can't
almost like a Hefeweizen.
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It says from Munich since 1363.
Yeah. That's what I got on the internet there. The oldest German beer. It's like the OG beer in the world right now.
Oh yeah, it says on here Weiss beer.
It actually smells good.
Yeah. I like that.
That is some strong shit too. What is this? 5%.
5%. Not bad.
Man, it tastes like it's more than that. Cool with me?
I'm a big fan of Hefeweizens anyway.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever try a lot of it times in Germany, if you get a Hefeweizen, especially a draft, they ask if you want to add fruit to it. And so you get some of the American Hefeweizens like Blue Moon and different things. They're brewed
citrusy.
with citrus, but theirs they brew a neutral wheat beer, but then they'll add fruit to it after, like in the glass. But they'll do. It's got to be a German thing because I'd never heard of it before. Banana. They'll do banana syrup in their wheat beer. It's different. I'm not.
Is it good?
It's okay. I like the citrus the best, but they had like blueberry. They'll do that.
Yeah, I like
Blackberries.
blueberry. I do. I didn't initially when I
Yeah.
tried it, but it really grew on me. I was in North Dakota one time in middle of January. I had to go up there to Fargo.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to go up to Grand Forks the next day, and we ended up getting snowed in Fargo. So the hotel I stayed in had a microbrewery in the parking lot.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up going down there, and the only two people in there was these two very manly lesbians. So I ended up drinking with them that night. They were cool. They were more butch than I ever will be.
Wow.
But they put dill pickle in their beer.
Is that where you picked up the
That's
pickle?
where I picked it up. Yeah, that's where I picked it up. And I'll tell you what, I love it. I love it still. When you throw a pickle in a Coors Light, that shit is okay. Feel free.
Oh.
It was wonderful. They were great.
Yeah.
They're two of the nicest people I ever met in my life.
That's awesome. You never know who you're going to run into.
I made friends. Every time I'm social everywhere I go, I make friends.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. You go out and you're having a good time, having a beer. It just shows like being friendly and having a common interest. You can meet somebody from all walks of life and have some common ground with them, and you end up having a good time.
Yep. It's great.
But speaking of strangers in a bar, that was funny. So on one of my deployments, I was traveling by myself, and I was going. I think it's when I was going to Ethiopia, and I had to go through. Went from Vegas to Chicago, and then Chicago to Germany, and then Germany down to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. And I get to Chicago, and there's this guy sitting at the bar, just normal looking guy, and don't speak a word. I don't know who he is. I don't talk to strangers. I'm socially awkward, so I don't. But but I just happened to see this guy. Well, they call the announcement for our flight to start boarding to Germany. Well, I get on the flight and I see that guy that was at the bar, and no big deal. He's on the same flight I am.
Yeah.
Well, so we get to Frankfurt and have an overnight layover in Frankfurt. So we get a hotel, go to the hotel, get changed, freshen up, come downstairs to the bar in Frankfurt.
Run into your buddy.
That guy sitting there at the bar, same guy. It's like, shit, is this guy following me or what? So still don't say a word to the guy. I don't know who he is. Well, the next day, we go to the airport, getting ready to get on the flight.
Move this because you got that chicken wing flying around.
I'm talking with my hands.
Yeah.
But so get ready to get on the go the flight to Ethiopia to Addis. So get on the airplane, walking down the aisle, and no shit, that guy is sitting there on the airplane going.
My God.
So like this guy was in Chicago with me. This guy flew to Germany with me, and now he's on the airplane going to Ethiopia. How many?
You ended up deploying with this guy, right?
Well, so it's like surely. So then when we got to Ethiopia, we had to catch another flight to the deployment site, and it's like out of one of those little regional airplanes. You know, it's like 30 people in the airplane. Go to the terminal, and he looks at me, and then I look at him. It's like, you followed me all the way from Chicago, and he's like, "Are you following me?" And I was like, "No, are you following me?" And I said, "Where are you going?" And he told me where he was going. It's like, "Oh, we're going to the same place." and we ended up deploying together, and it was just another guy that I never met before that was going to the same place I was.
That's cool.
Ended up being there for 4 months together.
I flew across the aisle with this dude from Korea. Well, we both ended up going to Korea together, and we were bullshitting the whole flight.
Yeah.
And neither one of us said where we were going, and we ended up being in sister squadrons there.
Oh, nice.
Good dude. But I flew to Doha with this dude, and we shot the shit the whole time. Really cool guy. And we landed, and he said, "You're going to the base, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You want to ride?" I was like, "Sure." Like 6 totally like fucking tacked out Suburbans pull up. And I'm like, who is this guy? He was the incoming MARSOC commander.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. So we jumped in these fucking tacked out Suburbans, and he gave me a ride right to the fucking terminal.
Oh, heck yeah.
Great dude. Yeah, great dude.
At least you had good security on the way there.
Yeah, man, I wasn't scared of nothing. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I was ready for whatever was coming down the road.
Yeah.
Like, man, I got fucking Marine Special Forces guys. I'm totally cool with this.
Yeah. Not worried about a thing.
Yeah. Good dude, though. Anyway, why don't we get to the Eagle's Nest?
Let's get to the Eagle's
We've
Nest.
been just shooting the shit.
After we've been here for an hour.
All right.
Telling stories. No, the power of editing. We'll cut this down a little bit.
We got to cut out a lot of names on this one, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, radio edit. All right. Well, okay. So this story comes. If you've seen the documentary, or not documentary, the miniseries Band of Brothers, they really showcase this scene in that show. And it's one of my favorite World War II shows or movies of all time. I mean, the Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan, probably, and then Letters from Iwo Jima is always a really good one.
I would say Saving Private Ryan is probably my favorite movie of all time. So it's one of those when it's on and I'm scrolling, I gotta watch that.
Oh yeah. Well, they talked about Saving Private Ryan and how authentic they made it, and how
a lot of people said that like it shouldn't be shown to the public because it was too real.
Yeah.
I remember when.
Well, and Spielberg even said like he wanted it to be that way because he really wanted people to get a better understanding of the gravity of the situation of it. And
did you see how he handled the actors in that?
oh yeah.
How like Tom Hanks and Tom Sizemore and the guys that were with him,
Yeah.
they went through like some shit.
Yeah.
And then Matt Damon didn't go through anything. So there was like legitimately real animosity when they met him.
And they did it on purpose just so that way they wouldn't like him. And to make it more, their reactions to him more authentic. And I thought it was great.
That is really, really a smart way to handle it. Good job, Steve.
Yeah. Seems like he knows what he was doing, I guess.
Not his first go round, yeah.
Oh. So in the I keep calling it a documentary because it was so because they had the veterans there that were talking about it, their stories and stuff. It was based off of real people and all that. So
one of the guys that's coming to my wedding knows one of the guys that was based on.
Oh, that's cool.
Like the guy, I don't know, like they're not buddies or whatever. You know, the dude's like old.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's still alive, but he would come down to their high school every year and tell them stories.
That's amazing. There's not many of those World War II veterans left. I mean, most of them have already passed on. I know Major Dick Winters that was in that Band of Brothers that was based off of. He passed away here like a few years ago, and he was one of the last remaining. But most of those guys are close to 100 or older now.
Those dudes are so much tougher than us.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, just the stuff they endured through the whole conflict. I mean, we went on deployments, and most of my deployments that I went on were 3 or 4. My longest was 5 months that I went on. But those guys, when they got there, when they landed on D-Day,
they were there.
They were there till the end of it.
Yeah,
you know,
and they were there with like wool.
Yeah,
and like their shitty boots and their shitty food and their just garbage gear that. You know, for maybe at the time it was cutting edge, but you know, now you got guys with like your Gore-Tex and
your nice Red Wing boots or
whatever. Yeah, some of the guys got the Rockies. You know, the $400 pair of boots getting issued to them.
Yeah,
yeah.
So it's amazing what those guys went through.
Don't get me wrong, the food still sucks. MREs are shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're better than what they used to be, but yeah, they're
better than they were when we were in now, man.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember A and B boxes over in Korea, and you would fight for the B box.
Oh, yeah. That was the cacciatore chicken was always in the chili mac.
Yeah, the chili mac was a good one, man. Yeah. And the lemon poppy seed.
Oh, the lemon poppy seed pound cake. That was like one of my favorites. They had that pound cake brownie, too, that was really good. Yeah. And that was good. Oh, man. Yeah, the MREs.
What was the Captain Chicken was the worst one, though. Everybody hated the Captain Chicken.
Every now and then, which I grew up I'm a meat eater, and you'd get the vegetarian MRE. It's like, why do I don't want this.
Do you remember the directions? The rock or something?
Oh yeah, the rock. Yeah, leaning up against
a rock or something.
Or something.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I got a story about an MRE bomb that I'll have to tell you. But
I never made one.
Oh,
that's one of the things I never did that I can't believe I never did.
They're fun. And well, okay, well, I'll just tell it. So, MRE bombs, I don't even know I wonder if YouTube will allow that. I don't know. We'll see. You get the heater packet in MRE, and you put your water in it with the pouch, and the chemical reaction, it heats the water up, heats your food up. Well, that chemical reaction creates steam. Well, if you enclose that steam in a sealed container, it'll build pressure. And if it can build enough pressure to rupture whatever the container that is.
Yeah.
Well, so we had heard about this stuff and get a water bottle. You stuff an MRE heater in there, put a little water in it, cut the lid down and shake it up. It build up pressure and blow up, makes a pretty good little pop.
Yeah.
And all it is the steam pressure. Well, we did that a few times. I thought that was pretty neat.
Where were you when you did this? Were you deployed?
Yeah, this was deployed in Balad.
Yeah.
And in Balad at the time, this is 2004 Balad, where we're getting mortared and rocket attacks on an hourly basis almost.
Yeah.
Explosions going off all the time, all hours of the day and night. Well, we're out here on the flight line making MRE bombs and blowing shit up. So we get tired of doing it in a water bottle. It's like, I think we can go bigger. And we find a Gatorade bottle, and they're
thick.
They're nice and thick, have a nice thick cap on them. So we get about 10 of those MRE heaters.
Oh my God.
Stuff them in this 1 liter Gatorade bottle, pour water in it, put the lid on it, and we throw it in this trash, the burn barrel, if you burn your composite material in. So we had the burn barrel.
55-gallon drum with holes pounded in it.
Yeah. So we put this Gatorade bottle full of MRE heaters, throw it in that burn barrel, and this sucker goes off, and it sounds like a IED goes off, which I guess it is an IED.
Well,
right?
it is, but yeah.
This boom blows up, and we're like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Well, as soon as we were all laughing and high-fiving at how cool it was, then the alarm red sirens start going off, and then alarm red, seek shelter. We're like, "Oh shit!" We set off the alarms.
You guys are dicks. You made the whole base cover.
Made whole base locked down and run to the bunkers because we blew up a water bottle in the burn barrel out there.
Well done. Well done.
Then after there wasn't any more incoming, we went out and did our IED sweeps looking for a...
Find anything?
Didn't find anything.
Nice.
Oh, but yeah, that was pretty funny though. And
that's good.
We kept that secret between us. We didn't let anybody get out.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have let that one out either.
I'm sure the Pro Super would have been pretty pissed about that.
Anybody who wasn't you guys would have been pissed.
Oh yeah.
Back to the fucking bunker.
Yeah, again.
Oh no.
Oh. So okay, all right. We'll get back to this story. We keep getting sidetracked.
I know, it's a good one.
What's the biggest bar tab you think you've ever had?
Vegas, 2005. It was just short of $900.
That's pretty respectable. So that's a pretty good bar tab.
Not bad. I was proud of it.
I saw it was a Twitter screenshot of, I think it was Floyd Mayweather and his entourage came through one of the bars or one of the clubs there in Vegas, and I think his bar tab was $88,000, almost $100,000.
Christ,
which is outrageous. That's way more than what a lot of people make in a year. I don't even think he left a tip. I think that was what made it on Twitter, is because he had an $80,000 bar tab and left a $20 tip or something like that.
What a dick.
But okay,
fuck you, Floyd. You're an asshole.
Oh, but
people work for those tips, man.
So this story kind of comes around. They didn't have an exact way to calculate the bar tab, but this tab would blow all of that out of the water, plus then some. So, Band of Brothers on the movie, it kind of shows how the 506th took the Eagle's Nest. So this is toward the end of World War II. The Eagle's Nest was...
Now, were they 506? What are they? Are they
That's the 506.
Or
They're remember the 101st Airborne.
Okay.
And it's the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment. So you
Okay.
got the 101st is the division, and then you got the regiment below the division. It's like group and squadron in the Air Force kind of thing.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I guess that's one thing too that's been a common misconception about that. In the movie they depicted the 101st as the one that actually took the Eagle's Nest, but it was actually the 3rd Infantry Division that came north from Africa and through Italy, and was actually the first ones there.
These dudes were just stomping ass the whole way.
Oh yeah, they just like mowed everything down on the way. The the 506 was the last ones there. They got the credit for it. But they made the lasting impression, really, I guess, on it, really. So it was the 3rd Infantry Division, the 506th, and then it was a French, I think it was the French, where'd it go? It was a French armored division that was joined there with them. And the French really wanted to capture the Eagle's Nest because they'd had their ass kicked through most of World War II already anyway. And they were really looking for like a moral victory for it.
Yeah, those guys, man, France, they catch a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of guerrilla warfare stuff going on through World War II.
There's a lot of saboteurs that did a lot of damage there on things.
Yeah, which is...
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this town, let me just get the thing. Berchtesgaden was the town, and it was in the Bavarian Alps, and it was basically, I guess I'm trying to think of a way to compare it. It would almost be like Martha's Vineyard or the Hamptons.
So it's where the higher ups hang out.
The higher ups, the social elite,
The elites.
the political elites lived in this town. And
like Maryland.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. The Beltway.
Where old Joe lives.
Old Uncle Joe.
Old Grandpa.
So this Berchtesgaden, and then above, so this is in a mountain town, so it's up in the mountains already. And then above the town, they said another 3,000 feet was the Eagle's Nest.
That was up there.
And it could oversee, and it's a crazy thing, they had a hidden elevator that went from the top all the way down to the bottom where...
That is amazing that they were technologically... I mean, I know that, it's not all that long ago.
Yeah.
Just that's a huge undertaking, getting through an entire fucking mountain.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe they did that.
Well, this palace, basically, this on top of this mountain...
I'd have trouble doing that shit today.
Yeah. There's pictures and videos of Hitler there in the Eagle's Nest, and that's where he made a lot of his plans for whole European domination. He drew up a lot of his war plans and had all of his secretive meetings with his generals and stuff were done here because it was secluded. It had a...
With like Himmler and all those guys all partied up there.
And they brought in... They had all those parties and stuff, and they'd bring in dignitaries or governors of areas and all that around there.
Like I do with my shed.
Yeah, there we go.
I bring the important people to my shed.
That's right. So this was like a strategic and very affluent area for the elite of Germany. And so this is toward the end of the war. They were really expecting heavy resistance of the main German holdouts because the war was coming to the end. Most of Germany knew they were losing.
Yeah.
The Americans knew they were winning, and they were expecting this town and this area was the last really major objective that they were trying to capture. And they were actually expecting some of these German SS loyalists to put up a fight. This was going to be their last stand, kind of like their Alamo or whatever.
Yeah.
And when they got there, any of the Germans, they captured over 2,000 Germans that was in this town.
Jeez.
And part of the Band of Brothers series, they actually kind of had a little clip of that where all the Germans that was there stood in a formation and their commander handed over his pistol and his sword and stuff and like
formal surrender.
Surrender. And that's kind of what they did. They surrendered formally there, and they really didn't put up any much of a fight. Well, these the French, and so the 3rd Infantry Division got there first, and they found a lot of the town had been bombed. The British Air Force had bombed that area a couple weeks before that to kind of soften it up for this invasion. And a lot of the buildings and stuff were destroyed in the town. But they found wine cellars and cheese cellars, and they had
jackpot,
yeah. They'd found.
I bet that was some high quality shit too.
Well, they were talking about they had found these giant cheese wheels. And then the cellar, and they were like wheeling these cheese wheels down the street, and hacking them up and eating, having a big party, cheese and wine, cracking open.
Man. I bet after eating like canned shit for years,
yeah,
I bet that was so good.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah,
oh, man.
They said they had there was preserved cheese, canned hams, big giant jugs of pickles, and pickles and beer.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh yeah,
match made in heaven.
But since like
maybe that's where the people of Fargo got that.
Yeah, they got the pickles and beer.
That's right. Fargo's got a lot of Germans.
Yeah. Oh
man.
The thing with it being was, since this town was so affluent with the wealthy and the powerful of Germany at the time, those houses and stuff were pretty much every house though they had bombed, they had a wine cellar in the basement of these places.
That's
and they were finding booze and wine.
Though. Yeah.
And so they partied it up pretty good, drinking a lot of this booze and wine that they had found in these cellars. Well, the next day, so the U.S. Army, the infantry, scaled the mountain and kind of raced the French up there to the top, to the Eagle's Nest. And they found Hitler's personal stash in this bunker up at the top of this mountain. And they said it had over 500,000 bottles of expensive wine, and cognac, and champagne. And they said a lot of the bottles of wine were up to $1,000 a bottle at the time in 1945.
Well, I had read a deal that said that's kind of how the French guerrilla fighters figured out what was going to be attacked.
Yeah.
Because the Germans would order champagne to meet them where they would attack.
Oh, yeah.
So they would keep track of where these shipments were headed and then send their...
Yeah, that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
You're kind of giving yourself away, but I need a shipment here at this location. Well, that's where we're going to be.
That's what it was. Yeah, they tracked the champagne shipments, and that's how the French figured out where the Germans were headed.
So I told you about the elevator that went to the top, right? Well, evidently whoever abandoned the...
I wonder if it was an Otis.
It might have been Otis. That sounds like a German name almost.
It does. Yeah, it does. I had a buddy who put the elevators in at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Yeah, they're Otis's.
So whoever abandoned the Eagle's Nest prior to that disabled the elevator, and it wouldn't. They either, I don't know how.
So they legit had to go up the mountain.
They had to go up the mountain. Yeah. So they got up there and they found all this shit. Oh, they had all this. There's like silverware. They were going to loot this place. Basically, is what they were wanting to do.
Spoils of war.
Yeah, and they couldn't get any. So they carried down as much as they could carry down. But then they went and talked. They didn't have any injuries. They took over the whole place without firing a shot. They rounded up all the medics and had them bring their stretchers. And they went back up the mountain with stretchers and crews and carried down from the top as much shit as they could carry on the stretchers.
So my question is there any of that left today?
Yeah. So let me look at the type of the main. There was a wine that one of the Nazi generals really preferred, and they still have some bottles of it available today still.
I bet that is some expensive shit. I bet it comes with like a letter of authenticity and...
Oh, yeah. So this...
It's not something you can just go get at your local liquor store.
Oh, okay. So this wine is called the Bordeaux from Chateau Lafite Rothschild out of France. And at the time, like I was saying, this stuff was like $1,000 a bottle. Okay, so
God dang, that's
they
1944 prices.
yes, a bottle of it. They said if you find one, the one was sold in 2020. It was a 1945 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild. It sold for $20,000.
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually less than I
I would
anticipated.
actually, yeah.
That seems like the deal of the century.
And but yeah, these guys, they loot the pantry and they
Loot the pantry.
They loot the pantry.
Hitler's liquor cellar. We're gonna call it the pantry.
Yeah.
And milk bones in my pantry.
They load up truckloads of booze out of this place, right?
That is awesome.
So this is where the 506 comes in. So they come in and they basically relieve the French go. They take their shit and they leave. And then they actually set up, they're going to control part of the town. They kind of divide the town up into who's going to occupy it and control it or whatever. And it's the 3rd Infantry Division. They send them to Austria. So the 506 comes in and relieves them of their command pretty much. And they load up like 6 truckloads of booze and take it with them. And they go to Austria. Well, while they're there, they find...
Road sodas.
Road pop.
I got a buddy who calls them travelers.
Travelers, yeah, that's good. So while they're there, the Band of Brothers group from the movie, and so they find another hidden wine cellar from one of their generals. It has 16,000 bottles of booze of liquor, cognac, wine, champagne.
All expensive shit.
All expensive shit. And they try to drink it all.
Oh my God.
I tried to look to find
this is guys who have been at war for...
They said at the time, they parachuted in on D-Day, and it was like 432 days they'd been there from D-Day to this day.
That's not like 432 easy deployment days like we had. That's like
getting shot at every day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hell.
Yeah.
I bet that was...
Oh, yeah.
They got tuned up.
So yeah, going back to the beginning of this all starts on May 4th. Well, I think it was the 506 gets there on the 6th.
Okay. Right?
Well, the next day, the Germans signed their formal surrender of World War II and VE Day, May 7th, 1945. The war ends in Europe. And they just have the biggest ass party there in the Eagle's Nest.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
And they said it's kind of hard to get an estimate of how much they drank, but they drank. And I tried to figure out how many people was there, and there was 3 different regiments there. There was the 2 Army regiments and the French regiment.
How big is a regiment? Like,
I'm thinking there's probably a couple thousand troops there in total.
They were rolling thick.
But the wine and all the stuff that they raided and ate and drank and stuff. So they partied till the 8th. So they had basically a 3-day kegger.
They had spring break.
Yeah. And so they think at the time in 1945 dollars, they drank a little over $1 million worth of booze.
In 45, that's a lot of money.
So I got onto a website, a currency converter, and it converted the currency through inflation and all that. And it was about $15.7 million on the conservative side is what they drank in 3 days.
God bless them. That's great.
And it was all paid for by Hitler.
Deserved. They deserved that. Yeah.
So that blew the Floyd Mayweather bar tab out of the water, and then some. Drinking.
Eat that, Floyd.
the $15 million bar tab that they walked out on.
That is incredible. That's a good story.
So that was pretty good because, yeah, like you said, the shit that they went through, I think is well deserved. And, and they said they were, but I think it shows on the show too, where they kind of talk about they raided and they stole silverware and cups. One of the colonels took like a tea pitcher because it had Hitler's initials on it. It had AH on their silver tea pitcher or whatever. So he took that home as a souvenir.
Do you think Hitler really offed himself, or do you think he ended up in Argentina?
I don't know. I've heard that I saw that History Channel documentary about that they were hunting. I think it's Hunting Hitler was the name
I
of it.
don't know.
I know there's full on German towns in Argentina.
There are, yeah. No, it's weird.
And
it's
there's
weird.
and there's some in Africa too. There's
I did not
I can't
know
remember.
that. But I would think like Tunisia and that there was
Yeah.
like a huge German influence there for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Egypt too, but I'm sure they probably got rid of them.
But
well, what do you think?
I think it went pretty good compared to last week's. I think we made some improvements.
Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah. Well,
Willie will let us know.
yeah.
He was critical.
Oh, he was? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, we'll have to.
He told me my story sucked.
He told you your
Said
story.
it was too short. But it was.
Yeah, we can improve that.
I was ill prepared.
But I think each week, hopefully, we'll make improvements as we go, and I think we'll figure this stuff out more and more. And I think I'll become a better speaker, maybe.
And I'll do better research. Because you research, man. You do your homework, and that's like the story of my life. I don't do homework.
Well, when it's about something I like, I really love military history. So research and stuff like that is easy to make.
You know what's weird? And I don't know why I am this way, but I've found that I am, is I will love reading stuff until I have to.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I'm not reading that.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know why. It's subconscious. I don't do it on purpose. But like, I can read pages and pages of just random shit and be totally into it, totally entertained. Yep. But then, like, if it comes down to, oh, you have to read this, I'm like, fuck you.
Screw that.
I'm not reading that.
I'm the same way. It comes with not just reading stuff, but somebody comes up to you at work and needs you to do a job, right? And they say, "Hey, you've got to go do this." I'm like, fuck no, I don't have to do that.
Got to do nothing.
But if you come and say, "Hey, can you help me with this, or can you go take care of this problem?" Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
You can ask me, and I will do anything.
I'll break my back for you.
Yeah. But if you say
I can get behind that. I'm the same way.
No, well, we hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. We tried to make some improvements where we can, and if you think of anything or if you see anything that we can try to do better with, just let us know, because we're open to constructive criticism. Don't come to us hating on stuff and not offer suggestions.
I've been told. No, we want to put a good product out there. It's just us screwing around and having fun. We want you to screw around and have fun with us.
Yeah.
But we are definitely open to suggestion, because we're total newbies at this.
Oh, yeah. And, no subject is off limits. We've got a few other ideas that we're going to try to do on next episodes. And we're going to try to keep it entertaining, try to keep it fun. We're going to try to learn a little bit along the way and actually do some actual history. But we need to have it in a fun environment, though. I think that some people, if you can make it fun, it makes it more palatable, makes it where people like it more.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's looking at this as a history lesson. Just two dudes freezing their asses off in a shed. I feel like I'm ice fishing, man. Drill a fucking hole in the floor.
Well, that's what we need to do, drill a hole and have a fishing pole out here next.
Yeah, with a little tip up. It's fucking cold out here. We will have a heater next week.
Yeah. Oh, man. Maybe we won't be as alert next week. If we're warm, we'll be all cozy in here. And
I don't feel like you're hitting on me.
But we appreciate it. And you guys,
thank you so much. Have a good night.
We'll see you next time.
Hit that subscribe button. As they say on the YouTube.
Oh yeah, we're on. I got our podcast live now on Apple, on iTunes, and on Amazon Music, on iHeart Radio.
Travis making progress over here.
So Google says it's on Google, but I haven't been able to find it yet. I don't think it's live on Google yet. But yeah, check out. I know for sure it's on Amazon and iTunes, and iHeart Radio. And then we'll work on getting on other podcast players as well. And then you're always here on YouTube. And I'll put out some clips too on TikTok. I'm kind of trying to get that going too. So you're going to find us in lots of places. You'll be able to find a link and find us that way. And we really appreciate the subscribes and the likes. And comments that helps keep the algorithm going and getting the video pushed out to other people. So that'll be the best way to help us out. We'll keep it going. Appreciate it.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a good one.